Grounded Weapons Guide, Chapter 3, Best Type of Strike. The third chapter of Grounded Weapons Guide series is here, and by the end of it, you will know what are the best type of strike categories to kill the top tier creatures. In the first two chapters, we talked about the 2 damage categories and the missing station. If you didn't watch it, I recommend you do so before watching this one. The Weapons Guide series was divided into 5 chapters. As the videos are released, they will be added to the playlist that is being suggested in the top right corner of the screen. All chapters have timestamp links added to the video description that you can use to jump back and forth as you wish. A good part of Chapter 1 was about inconsistencies regarding weapons classification on type of strike. But it is not something consistent throughout all the weapons, as, for example, stabbing and some generic weapons don't have icons. Another reason to feel the type of strike categorization isn't still 100% reliable is the mosquito needle. It is classified as stabbing, generic, or slashing. Some may think that there are workarounds about it, but paradox doesn't end there. The only way to compare weapons' performance is by knowing their base damage. The damage bar on the weapon's description does not represent the exact damage a weapon inflicts. For example, the Pebblet Axe has 1 of 10 in its damage bar. The Insect Axe has 1.5 of 10. If this was an exact representation of their damage, 3 hits of a Pebblet Axe should be equal to 2 hits of an Insect Axe, but it's not. And when you add to that the type of strike variable, data becomes even more unreliable. With the information provided today by the game, it is impossible to compare weapons and be 100% sure about creatures' vulnerabilities regarding the type of strike. But there is one thing that is consistent throughout the entire game: the creature's health bar meter. I believe, and I never heard from the developers, that every unit of a health bar is the same for each creature. Reason why the Broodmother has plus 21 segments and the Firefly has plus 3 segments. Following this parameter, it is possible to know how much damage a weapon makes to each creature and compare it to its own performance. I will jump the mathematical explanation, but the end result of this methodology allows to identify to which creatures a weapon makes more or less damage per hit. Based on that, we can guess, and let me repeat that, we can guess the vulnerabilities of each creature. I tried everything to don't leave you guys without a recommendation about the type of strike, and this is the most reliable methodology I could find. If you want to know more details about it, comment below and I will be happy to explain. I applied this methodology to 12 top tier creatures of the backyard, and the results were: for stabbing, it was used a Pebblet Spear. Overall, the stabbing type of strike makes more damage to flying creatures, possibly because arrows are a stabbing type of strike. For chopping, it was used an Insect Axe. Chopping type of strike makes more damage to the Bombardier Beetle and also excels with the flying creatures. For smashing, it was used a Pebblet Hammer. Smashing type of strike makes more damage to the Ladybug and perform well against Orb Weavers and Wolf Spiders. For generic, it was used a Spiky Sprig. The generic type of strike has the smallest resistance overall, and performs extremely well against ladybugs, even though the patch notes say differently. It also has the best damage proportion against the Sickly Roly-Poly and the Broodmother when compared to the other type of strike categories results. For slashing, it was used a black ant sword. Overall, the slashing type of strike is a good weapon against wolf spiders, excels against flying creatures, and presents itself as the best damage proportion against the antlion and stink bug when compared to the other categories results. Let's highlight the overall recommendation on what type of strike you can use for each one of these creatures. Remember, this information is not an 100% reliable result. Now, at least, we have an idea on how each type of strike performs against the top tier creatures. Time to find out in Chapter 4 of the Grounded Weapons Guide series how the forged upgrades behave. With these two results, we will be able to work on our final weapons recommendation. If you guys have any doubt about this guide or anything else on Grounded, leave a comment below and I will help you. Don't forget to subscribe to Spy to watch Chapter 4 on the Weapons Guide series. And you can now be a member of the channel, which includes memberships that give monthly games for free. Be part of the Spy Academy. That's okay, I'll let you spy on me.